Hello, I'm Erin Halvorsen with Rag Rugs by Erin. This video is going to be on hooks and how to choose the right hook for your project and what you can achieve with the different types of rag rug hooks available to you, or crochet hooks. They're just, I call them rag rug hooks because the ones that I'm now selling on my website are longer and make it more comfortable for this craft. So let me kind of show you. This one you've probably seen before. This is featured in my square, how to make a square rag rug. And I keep a lot of these rugs, and if they happen to sell, they sell, but I'm not really pushing that because I'm really about education and teaching you things, and I also teach a lot of classes, and so I use them as examples when I think they have a lot to be shared with other people. So let's go ahead and start talking about, in my earlier videos, most of my rugs were made with like a 10 millimeter, and you can see the size of that. And what you would achieve would be something like this, a nice low profile rug. Maybe you can get a good look at that. So this is a nice low profile rug. It's real tight. It's probably 1.25 to 1.5 inch width sheet yarn, and it's made with this hook. So this is a fine hook. It's inexpensive. It's readily available that you could find. What things that you would probably want to avoid when you're purchasing a hook. Sorry, we have the windows open. It's a little before Thanksgiving, and we're just so excited because we live here in Florida that we can actually have the windows open and the doors and the door to shut. So here's some other hooks that I think that you might find frustrating for you. This works well. Okay, this particular one works well for me. This is a 10.5. So it's just a teeny bit bigger. No, this is a 6.5. Now I hear it, so this is a K. So I see people making them with Ks and Js, and I can just imagine how your little hand must be just cramped up on that. That seems way too small to be working with something like that. So here is, when I teach a class, this one's an N. And it's a 10 millimeter, and this is a 10 millimeter. So this is a different type of hook. This is a metal hook. It's a little bit longer. But people would show up at my classes with these two types of hooks when I used to just say, hey, you know, this is what you can buy. And they'd show up with one of these hooks, and they'd be very frustrated. So I'm going to let you look down here, Lala, and so we can focus on this. So when I'm showing them, they'd be really frustrated. This one actually, oh, this one's a P. Okay, so this one's a P. I'm telling you something wrong. This one's a P, a little bit bigger, and I would tell people get a 12, 16, or a 19 millimeter, or as small as a P, or an N, and they would show up with these hooks, and they do not work well. I haven't found them to work well. And when teaching students, they do not seem to work well. That tight little area right there and this little short base, especially if you are not a crocheter. And I gear my classes to, you don't have to have any training to be a crocheter. And the frustration level would be off the chart. And so I started ended up handing them my hooks. So here's like an alternative to these hooks that now I sell with my class if you choose to. Okay, so here is a 9.5, which is supposed to be a little bit smaller supposedly than this one as far as the head goes. But you see the head size on that, how much there's gripping area and whatnot. And then look at the length. Okay, I don't sell a lot of this 9.5. It's almost a 10 because I really think that it's more comfortable to buy, go with like a 12. Or something like that. So I do have people, and I had special requests. I had a woman in Canada who started requesting this, and that's when I started selling them. But see, I crochet or make my rug like this now, and I'm leaving all this area, and I use this area to slide on, where before I was working like this, or I'd be like that, and my hand would be coming off here, and I would get a lot of pain, because this, as someone said, they're working on the butt of it. And they're right. You're working on the butt of your hook if you're doing it like this. And if you're only working up here when you're making your rug, you're not opening up your stitch enough, in my opinion, to make it comfortable. So if you choose to make something that's a smaller, these are some choices, like on my website, to have a little bit, a hook that's more geared to. This is an 8.5 inch long. Many times you'll see hooks, and you'll see them that are bamboo or something, and they're coming from Taiwan or China, but they don't tell you how long they are. When you order it, it's 6 inches long. Okay, so you're talking way up here. So it looks like, wow, that's a good deal. That's a really good deal. But if you can't make more than one rug because your hand's hurting, I don't know if that's really a good deal. So I tried those things too. But these are very slick and very nice. Now, I also have a line of reclaimed hooks, and they're always ever changing. So this is a 12, and I happen to have quite a few of these, and I hope to get some more. Sometimes I only get 2 or 3 hooks out of something that's a piece of reclaimed wood, but this one is really a pretty little hook, and I use one just like this all the time, and this is a 12. Okay, so there's some things to getting a rug like this real low profile rug, which is a really great choice for you if you're going to have it in a high traffic area, or if you're an older person, or it's going to be used by an older person. It's going to lay really flat. So there's reasons why people want this low profile rug. Let's move up and see the other options. This one is made with a 12 as well. See, I told you, here's my personal hook. And this is a reclaimed 12, and I'm going to be doing a video on this in just a few minutes. And this is a runner, and you can see, and this is how wide those strips are. And what would you say that is, Lyle?
1.5 inches.
Okay, so these are 1.5 inches. I think some of them were closer to 2 inches. So they went from 1.5 inches to 2 inches. This is a very easy way to do it. You could even go to 2.5 inches and still work it just fine, probably with this 12mm hook. Okay, so that's what you can achieve with that. Oops, that just came flying off. This is one I use in teaching all the time. This poor little rug has been finished and then undone and finished and undone and finished and undone probably 40 times. And so now I've decided I've got to put another ring on it so I can continue to use it with my teaching. Because when you come to a class of mine, I teach you how to do all the steps, so even if you haven't finished your rug, you have all the tools. So this one is made with a P hook, which this one is made with something this big, a little bit bigger than a 12. It could easily be made with a 12. Okay, this is a hook that is ergonomically correct. It's a more expensive hook, and I do sell quite a few of these on my website as well. Lyle does not make these particular ones, but he does make all these other ones. But a 12 could work very well. And here is let me get you a 16, which is a Q. And this is the most popular size hook. This could easily be achieved with this as well. And you can see this is what I'm crocheting with here. Would that be closer to 2 inches, Lyle, possibly?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So this is 2 inches, and probably most of this was done with a 2-inch, 1 3/4 to 2 1/4 inches. And I used a P hook for this one. Again, the 12 would work fine, or a 16 would work just fine too. So, and again, the 16, which is the Q, is the most popular size of hook. And this is still a pretty low profile rug, okay? But we are getting a little thicker, if you can see. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are getting a little bit thicker when you go up with your sheet yarn and then make it a little bit bigger. This is, I believe this was done with a 16. I'm not sure. It could have been done with a 14, a P, but I think it might have been done. I can't remember which every one of mine have been done with. This one's a little bit wider. It's at least 2 inches sheet yarn. So again, this could be done with a 16. This is a heart. I have a couple different hearts on my channel, but this is a heart, and they have a video on that. And so again, these would be the choices. A 12, 14, a 16 to achieve something like this. Alright. You could do a 19, which is a little bit bigger. Let's see. I came up with this kind of in-between size because some people that have a lot of arthritis in their hands felt like that was uncomfortable to go to a this made it just a little more comfortable. Again, this is 8 inches long. All my hooks are a minimum of 8.5 inches long. And so I have some people that really like this 19. Now I will tell you, I have a friend who has problems with her hand, and her hand won't open up very much. This is too big for her. So she tried the 19th, and she ended up using this 12 and decided, I'm actually reclaimed at a class that I taught her. And so when I teach classes, if you include your hook with your class, I let you choose a different one if that doesn't work for you. So you get to feel them, and you get a little discount at my class as well with your getting a hook at that time. So I let you kind of try some different hooks. So let's go on. This one's a 16 is what I use for the center part, which again is that Q, which is the most popular. Okay, I went and did the center part with a Q, And then I did an experiment. I haven't done a video on this. I was going to, and I got distracted. This is quite a bit. This is 2.5, maybe closer to 3 inches. Once I stepped off here and started to kind of give it a little bit of a lacy look, and then I think I'm pretty sure that I went up to a 19, and I ended up doing a 19 on this. I don't usually change a hook size and go up, but I was trying to see what does that effect give me, and it was a nice effect. I liked it, but the outer layer ended up using a 19. That's not a very conventional thing to do, but you don't know if you don't try. So there's also right now I have a 20 available, and I get these periodically. I get them in yellow and blue and sometimes plain. That had blue paint. I really like this blue, and there's a yellow one too. And this one is so silky smooth. It's unbelievable. I have an 18. No, where's my 18? Oh, maybe I didn't grab my 18. I have an 18. I only have a couple of those, a lot darker wood. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. A lot darker wood. This is a reclaimed one as well. That's a pretty hook too. So you can see the variations, and you never know what you're going to get when you get them. But I do want to, I grabbed a couple of these so you could see something in here too. When you do order a hook, they're all individually, they're all individual, so the color is going to be different. Like here is a 22, and you look at those. This one had a little thing it had to be filled. It came that way. It's new. But look at those streaks. Isn't that sexy? I don't know. People might not think hooks are sexy, but that's how pretty the colors are. I just think the colors and the you can see the grain in there. So they can be very different. But these are all poplar. Okay, so there's 22. And I'm going to show you what you can achieve with a 22. You could work on denim. You could work on thicker material. My denim rug sold immediately. I have another rug with denim, and I've donated that. There's going to be a fundraiser. They're going to be using it in that fundraiser, so I don't have the denim right now. So I made those with a 22. This one's a 2-ply. You can see it's quite a bit thicker. I'm using 2 different colors at the same time. It gives a different look. I have a video on this as well, but this was done with a 22. But I'm now selling quite a few 25s, and this is 9.5 inches long. So this is 8.5, and this is 9.5. A 25, people that are using these thicker rugs are using these 25s more than they're actually using these 22s. And this 25, I'm finding that people are saying, I have someone who does it for a living, and she told me hers was only 7 inches long. And after ordering a couple of my other hooks, she decided to replace her 25 with one of my 25s because it was 7.5 inches long, or 7 inches long, I think. So we're talking, it was this length. So, okay, we're also available, is my 28 is my latest one, and I've got some new coming out. So that will give you some ideas of what to expect. Thank you.